Nitrosites, it's me, the Nitro General here, and today I'm going to be doing something I've seen a few YouTubers doing around, and I'm going to be ranking every Pokemon from every generation. Now, these are just going to be, this is my opinion at the end of the day, so if you guys disagree, that is totally fine. Make sure you leave me down in the comments what you guys think is the best Pokemon from every region. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion. But, so without further ado, let's get right into the video. So starting off with Generation 1, you have the Fire-type starter Charmander, the Grass-type starter Bulbasaur, and the Water-type starter Squirtle. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure when it comes to Generation 1, everybody's favorite starter has to be Charmander. I love Charmander. You know, whenever I get the chance to use a starter from Generation 1, I always use Charmander because I love Charizard. I think he's a really good fire type. He's a flying type. He can learn fly. A lot of times in the earlier games, there wasn't a ton of good flying type Pokemon, so using a Charizard for fly was probably one of the best bets. Now, between Bulbasaur and Squirtle, it was really hard for me to really decide which one of these I like better. I played through Gen 1 many times, and I've used all three of these starters. But after some thinking, I have to say my second favorite starter from Generation 1 would have to be Bulbasaur. I really love Bulbasaur's model. I think his design is really cute. I really love Ivysaur, and I really love Venusaur. Especially in Pokemon Let's Go, I really love Venusaur's walking animation. They made him actually look like a frog instead of like the lizard and stuff that he kind of looks like in these games. In the rest of the games, I really do like him. So that's why Squirtle has to come in third, because, and I do love Squirtle, and Wartortle's okay, and I like Blastoise, but I feel like there are a lot better water types you could use in Generation 1, like Starmie or Gyarados and stuff, and there isn't really a ton of other Pokemon to use. So that's why coming in at the number 3 spot for Generation 1, for me, would have to be Squirtle. And I know that's up for a lot of debate, because I do love Squirtle. He's really cute, and his animation is really cool. But, so Generation 2, you have the Fire-type starter Cyndaquil, the Grass-type starter Chikorita, and the Water-type starter Totodile. Now, when I first started playing Generation 2, this was the game that I actually got started playing, and every time I would pick Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is probably one of the cutest starters, in my opinion, but I always really loved Fire-type Pokemon, and in Generation 2, there wasn't a lot of good Fire-type Pokemon that you could get otherwise. But the whole reason why I haven't clicked on the screen yet is because after some consideration, and after I played through the game a lot of times, I fell less and less in love with Cyndaquil, because Typhlosion is probably my second to least, well, he's one of my least favorite Fire-type starters. So that's why my favorite in Generation 1 is Chikorita. I love Chikorita. I think it's adorable. I love Bayleaf. Bayleaf in the anime was always one of my favorite Pokemon in the anime. I loved it. And Meganium is my second favorite starter ever. I love Meganium. I love its design. I think it's super cool. I just love it. And coming in at the number 2 spot, you would think would be Cyndaquil, but it is Totodile. I have played through a lot of times. In my most recent playthrough of Generation 2, I used a Totodile. Totodile is super cute. I love Feraligatr. I think Feraligatr is really badass. I'm not a huge fan of Crocodile, but I really do like Feraligatr. I think he's probably one of the best water-type starters. So yeah, that's why I think Totodile is coming in number 2 spot, which means that my original favorite starter in Generation 2 is gonna come in at the number 3 spot, and this was hard for me, but I just don't love Typhlosion's model. I really like Cyndaquil, and I really like Kolava, but I'm not really falling in love with Typhlosion. I really think there are a lot of other fire type Pokemon that I would rather use on a competitive team or on a team in general than a Typhlosion. So Generation 3. Now, Generation 3, if you guys have watched my top 5 favorite Pokemon, which if you haven't, go watch it right now, because otherwise I'm about to spoil who my favorite Pokemon is. Because if you guys didn't know, my favorite Pokemon of all time is Blaziken. Now, Blaziken only because I have such a badass one that I've had since X and Y, and I really hope that I can bring him to Sword and Shield if they add a way, because he is my favorite Pokemon, and it's just that reason. It's not because I really like the way that he looks, it's just because I just love Blaziken. Blaziken is my #1 favorite Pokemon, so you guys know that Chikorita's got to come in #1, which Chikorita is my favorite starter. Now, this one was kind of hard for me, too, because I'm usually not a huge fan of Grass-type starters, but but I really, really do like Trico. Trico is super cool. He's a little lizard, and I think he's super cute. I'm not a huge fan of Grovyle. I think he's got a kind of cool model. His Sceptile's pretty cool. But I have to go with Mudkip as #2, just because I really, really love Mudkip. Mudkip was always my starter in every game, and every time I played through Gen 3, until I got that Torchic named Peppy Paul. So that's why Mudkip's got to come in 2nd place, and I really, really love Swampert. Swampert's pretty awesome, so that means that Trico's got to come in 3rd, and honestly, this one was really hard for me too, because I really do love Trico, like I said before. So Generation 4, coming in at the halfway point in today's video, is Generation 4. Now, if you guys didn't know, Generation 4 is my favorite region. It's got my favorite bird-type Pokemon. It's got my 3 favorite starters, except for Torchic. Before I loved Torchic, my favorite region was Generation 4, or my favorite starters, because I love the game. I love the legendaries. Dialga and Palkia were some of my favorite legendaries. Palkia is my favorite legendary, and so that's why. And this one was really, really, really hard for me. But before Torchic was my favorite starter, I have to say Infernape was my favorite starter. I love fighting fire types, and I think they're super cool. And Chimchar's just a little fire monkey. How could you not love that little face? How could you not love that little face? I just, it's a monkey with literally fire on his tail. And that, to me, was always super cool. And as a kid, as my first game I got on the DS I just loved Chimchar. Loved Chimchar so much. But coming in at the #2 spot, again, this is super hard for me, but I have to go with Piplup, only because I love Empoleon. Empoleon is my favorite water-type starter. So yeah, I love Empoleon. I love the look of it. I just think it's super cool. And it probably was due to when I played through Pokemon Coliseum as a kid. Or no, not Pokemon Coliseum. Pokemon Battle Revolution. And you always had a Prinplup on. If you picked I don't remember if it was the boy or the girl Battle Pass. You had, and yes, it was called the Battle Pass, just like in Fortnite. You always had a Prinplup on your team, and that was a water type you had. And I love Prinplup, and I used that so much. So it kind of, it was due to that why Piplup is #2. And then, unfortunately, Turtwig has to be #3, but I do love Turtwig. I think Grottle is super cool. I think you had Grottle in that game too, but I just love Prinplup. And then Torterra is one of the cooler Pokemon ever. I mean, it's literally just a giant-ass turtle with spikes on his back and a giant tree. I mean, literally a tree coming out of his back. I mean, that's pretty freaking cool. That's pretty awesome, if you ask me. So coming in now, Generation 5, my least favorite generation ever. And it's not just, I don't know why, but for some reason, Black and White, whenever I got it, was like a really weird time for me for Pokemon. I don't know. It's the one game that I pick out that for some reason stands out to me as more of seems like a fan-made game. But I really do like the story-wise, but the starters aren't that great for me. There is one starter in this entire region that I really, really like. The other two are like, eh. And if you guys didn't know, one of these final evolutions in here is one of my least favorite Pokemon. Now, I didn't put it in my least favorite Pokemon video because it isn't in my top 5, but it is definitely in my top 10. So coming in at the #1 spot, the only starter I really love in this generation is Snivy. Now, I love the models-wise of all these Pokemon. But Snivy I think is super great. Servine is really freaking cool, and Superior I think is really awesome. It's just like a giant grass snake. I always use Oshawott when I play through a game, But recently, when I went back to play through these games, I picked Snivy because I love Snivy's model. I love Snivy in the anime. I just think Snivy's super great. And I don't really like Oshawott model. But I love Tepig's model. Tepig's model is awesome, but I hate Pig Knight and I can't stand Embor. So that is the reason why Oshawott comes in number 2. Because, Oshawott, I don't really like Oshawott's model. I don't really like Duat's model, but Samurai's pretty cool. So that's why Oshawott comes in the number 2 spot, which means that coming in the number 3 spot would be Tepig. And I love Tepig. He's definitely my favorite out of the 3 for looks-wise. I think his model is adorable, but like I said, I hate Pig Knight, and I think Embor is the worst, second to worst fire-type Pokemon that you can ever use. So yeah, that is why for Generation 5, Tepig has to come in number 3. Even though it's hard for me to say because Tepig is one of the cutest starters and I love, love, love his model. But yeah, that's why Snivy's number 1, Oshawott's number 2, and Tepig's number 3. So coming in at Generation 6 Pokemon X and Y, the game changer for Pokemon in my opinion. The first Pokemon game that was Super 3D on the 3DS. Again, when I first started playing this game, I loved Fennekin. I love Fennekin's model. I think it's adorable. I didn't really like Chespin, but when I first played through the game, I picked Froakie because it was the only Pokemon that I hadn't seen the final evolution or the second evolution for. But I have seen the evolution for the rest of them, and I kind of didn't, and I kind of wanted to see new Pokemon, so that's why I picked Froakie. And then after I played through the game, I think it was pretty obvious to me that the best starter of the entire game was Froakie. Froakie is awesome. Greninja is awesome. I love Greninja Shiny. I think it's super awesome. Greninja was one of the first Pokemon that I actually got to level 100 myself. So yeah, that's why. And, now you would think the Fennekin would come in at number 2, but the thing is that I just don't like Delphox. I don't like Delphox or Braixen. I think they could have done way better with the look of those two. So that's why Chespin comes in at number 2. I'm not a big fan of Quilladin either, but I really do like Chestnut. I think Chestnut's a pretty cool looking Pokemon. He's actually, if you guys didn't know, he's like way bigger, like than I would have, or way smaller than I thought he was. I would have thought that he was like towering over me, but he's only like 4 or 5 feet tall. So that's I was really surprised, but I really do like Chestnut, so that's why Chespin has to come in at number 2, and Fennekin has to come in at number 3 because I do not like Fennekin, or I'd like Fennekin, but I do not like Braixen or Delphox. I just think that the models are kind of bad, and I do not like the looks of them. But even though Delphox is kind of okay when it comes to competitive. So coming in at the last generation that we have already is Generation 7. And Generation 7 starters all looked super cute when I got it, but I really the only one. But like I said, I did not like Popplio's model at all. So that's why I kind of was like, I don't really know if I'm going to like these. And I did not really like Rowlet's model either. But I loved Litten. I love Litten so much. So that's why my favorite starter in Generation 7 is Rowlet. Because Rowlet, you guys thought I was going to say Litten. No. Because if you watch my top 5, Incineroar is my 5th least favorite Pokemon ever. I hate his model. Hate it so much. Hate it with a passion. I cannot stand Incineroar. But I do like Litten and Torcat. But I love Rowlet. I love Rowlet now. I think he's adorable. He's super awesome in the anime. I can't stand the second evolution. The name is escaping me right now, but I can't stand Rowlet's second animation. I think it's one of the stupidest looking Pokemon ever. But I do love Decidueye. Decidueye is super cool. It is one of the coolest grass-type starters. I love the look of it. I think it's awesome. It's kind of like Robin Hood. It's got a bow, and in any game, I always pick a bow if I get the chance anyway, so yeah. But so you guys probably know who's coming in second. It is Popplio. I love Popplio now. I think Popplio is adorable. I actually really like his model now. It kind of grew on me. I do like Brione. Brione is probably my favorite out of the 3 of his evolutions. And then Primarina is pretty awesome too. I think the animation and its design is pretty neat. And that's why Linton has to come in at number 3. And I know it sucks because Linton and Dorkat are awesome. But it's literally only because I can't stand Incineroar so much. I really, really do not. And I don't know why. I just can't stand his animation. You know, like I said in my last video, if you watched it last night, they have Pokemon. They have a Pokemon based off a wrestler, but still not one based off a dolphin. So yeah, that's why my 3rd favorite Pokemon in Generation 7 is Linton, or starter. So, but coming in now, we have the Generation 8 starters. Now, this is going to be really hard for me because we haven't even gotten to see the second or final evolutions of any of these guys. So I'm going solely off of the looks itself and how they looked in the trailer. Now, again, we don't know how they are competitive, so it's really, really hard for me to actually pick which one of these that I'm going to like, but I'm going off of the looks-wise of all these Pokemon. So, my favorite out of Generation 8 starters is Sobble. I love Sobble. I think he's adorable. I think he's an adorable little water lizard. He was a little shy. You know, he came out of the water in the trailer, and he was invisible, and I think he's super cute. I love Sobble. I think he's super great. Super, super, super great. But like I said, guys, this is probably the hardest one for me, not only because we haven't really got a trailer or the or the models for the 2nd or 3rd evolutions, but because this is the only generation since Gen 3 or Gen 4 that I have loved every one of these starters. So this was really hard for me to pick the number 2. It was really immensely, but after some thought, I think my 2nd favorite is Sorbunny. Now, I think Sorbunny is really cute. I love the whole, you know, him being so fast and him leaving the flame prints in the grass. I think it's super awesome. So that is definitely why I'm picking Sorbunny as number 2. So that obviously means that Grookey has to come in at number 3. And I know this is a really stupid looking clip art I got for Grookey, but I could not find an actual good clip art for him. But I'm not the hugest fan of the design of Grookey, but again, I really like him. So I think he's really cool. He's banging the rock with the sticks, and I can't wait to get the 2nd and 3rd evolutions of him because I think they're actually going to be really awesome. So that's why my least favorite starter in Generation 8 would have to be Grookey, but I love the Grookey's Smile anyways. So that's why it's really hard for me to say that I don't love Grookey, because I do love Grookey. So, but with that, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new and you like the commentary. I try to make videos as much as I can. And other than that, guys, that is really it for me. Make sure to hit the bell if you want, just in case you don't want to miss one of my videos. But other than that, guys, I will see you whenever I see you next. Nitro General out. Peace.